So I'm kind of just making single step videos for this Civic turbo build. To this point, we've got the crankshaft in with the main bearings, girdle on, all torqued down to spec. We've checked our bearing clearance, we're all good. We've got the high flow oil pump on, and I've got the timing belt, sprocket, and bolt on here so I can rotate the engine easily about this point. I mean, with the amount of assembly lube that was used, I can pretty much just push this guy. And that's something you want to be mindful of when you start assembling this, is you should have some form of assembly lube. There's a few different versions of it. This is all my local store stocked. And this is going to be vital to assembling a lot of the stuff. You need to put this on when you do bearings. You need to put this on when you do pistons into the block to give it a nice lube surface to slide down so it doesn't scratch anything on its way in. But this video around, we're doing the rear main seal. So it's kind of hard to see here, being that it's behind my engine stand. This is the crankshaft itself where the flywheel mounts. This guy right here is the rear main seal housing. The rear main seal itself is right in here. You can see a little bit of rubber right there is the rear seal itself. So I went and got a brand new Honda OEM rear main seal. You can pick it up on eBay, online, from a store. Pretty generic places to get these specific Honda OEM parts. I prefer to use these kind of things with Honda OEM because they make very long-lasting gaskets and sealers. And it, sure, it might be leaking on your 250,000 mile Honda, but the fact that it made 250,000 miles without leaking is kind of a big deal. So I prefer to use them. There are some aftermarket choices out there, but it's really up to you and how you want to do your build. Most people seem to want to opt for Honda OEM on that stuff, so I trust it. This is pretty much the exact same as the video for the oil pump. You're going to take your rear main seal housing. I took out the old seal, which was kind of a task itself to get the old seal out. You're going to clean it up. And see, I still need to clean some of this up. There's some old gasket material still here. But primarily for this step, you're going to clean up this mating surface on the back side here, all the way around. A good tool is a widget, a flat razor blade, basically. Clean off those surfaces, being very careful not to scratch the metal. In my block resurfacing, I actually had both this and the oil pump mating surfaces resurfaced as well, just to polish them up and make them a smooth mating surface. Take my rear main seal housing. I took out my old one, put my new one in, pretty straightforward. RTV oil resistant stuff all the way around it. And just like with the oil pump, encompassing all the bolts on the backside, like when you come to the bolt hole, make a circle around it with the sealant. So if any fluid were to get through the thinner amount of RTV against the bolt, once it gets into the bolt area, it would have to go through another layer of RTV to get outside the bolt and actually start leaking. And you're going to want to make sure none of it comes up onto here. I mean, obviously, when you go and tighten this down, some's going to come out. But as you can see, I cleaned this off because this is going to get all RTV'd when we put the oil pan on. So same thing as oil pump. Finger tight all these bolts down. I believe there are 4 of them. Yeah, 4 of them. And then you're going to let it sit for an hour at average room temperature. And you're going to come back and then torque it down to spec. I don't have the spec handy as to what these ones were, but with these, it's pretty light on how much torque it really needs to get tightened down. And that's it for the rear main seal. Next step is going to be putting pistons and rods in. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see the rest of these steps that are upcoming for this Civic build. Right now, I'd say I'm probably, being that I got the block for free, about $1,300 into parts and components, and we're going to keep building it as fast as I can afford to.